Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I just wanted to do a little update of life here on the homestead. Hi, Coco. And the main thing I've been doing is raking leaves, lots and lots of leaves. So, pretty well have this giant sycamore tree taken care of. There's still some on the roof, a lot on the roof, that hopefully will blow off soon so I can take care of them. And a little tiny bit on the tree, but that tree is huge. It's between 60 and 80 feet tall, and it has a lot of leaves. Luckily, those leaves are really big, and so they're easy to rake. And we've had dry weather until this afternoon, and so they're also lightweight. What I do is I rake them up onto a very large ground. It's not a ground cover, shade cloth type of strip. I really don't know how long it is, maybe 16 feet. And I rake the leaves onto that, then I roll them I just flip it over one side and smash the leaves down, and then I bring up one end and bring the other one. So it's kind of like I'm making a burrito, a big leaf burrito, and press that all down. And then I just pull that big long thing clear full of leaves to wherever I want it. Now I've pretty well covered my potato bed, and that is great. And I've covered 8 of the garden beds. So the garden beds are 3 foot wide by 12 foot long. And I've done 8, which I think is half of them. But today I've also done one almond tree, one hazelnut tree, one cherry tree. And today I was just really tired. I did not want to go out at all. So I asked Jason if he knew where the blower was, the leaf blower, and he said he did. So it's a big leaf blower, and it has straps. You strap it onto your back. It's a big gas-powered one. And I asked him if he'd go on the road behind the chicken house and blow that down for me. And I would really appreciate that. So he did that for me. But first he went in and did a little bit more in the front yard. And then he did that. And I'd gotten everything out of the front yard by the time he was finishing up behind the chicken house. So I went to do that. And then he moved on to one of the giant old apple trees. And I've mentioned this before. We have a couple of the very oldest apple trees in our entire valley. They're huge. And so he did that. And the very funny thing is, so the leaves behind the chicken house, those are from the oak trees. And they've been down quite a long time, and they're very, very dry. You know, between the sun and the hard freezing that we've had, super dry and crinkly. So I rolled those up, like I told you, like a burrito, in that big long, I'll call it a sheet because that's just easier to say. And then I decided I would lay on that sheet and I would just roll up and down, and I would begin to crumble up and break up part of those leaves so they would decompose quicker. And the funniest thing happened. So I'd rolled down once and up, it was a little slope, and was rolling down again, and I did not hear Jason come by, and Jason's like, "Mom, you're like a little kid." And I just had to laugh. It was so funny. So I rolled a couple more times, and Jason helped me up off the ground, really helped smash those leaves down and break them down. And we were reminiscing how much fun it used to be with my grandson Christopher, Jason's nephew. And when I would do leaves with him, I would put them in a big trash can, a plastic trash can, a 33-gallon one. And then I would pick up Christopher when he was little, even though he wasn't that little. And I would put him inside of that trash can, and he would stomp him and stomp him with his little feet. And then I would lift him out and I'd throw more in, and he'd stomp. I'd put him back in and he'd stomp him, stomp. It was really fun for both of us. Probably more fun for him because he was kind of heavy to be lifting up that high. And Jason remembered we have a little trailer that is used for utility purposes, how he would get the leaves, we'd get the leaves and we'd put them inside the trailer that we pulled behind the pickup, and then put Christopher in there just stomping them. And he could do it quite a few times because they would, like I said, smash down, break down, could really hold a lot. And then Jason would drive those into the garden for me. That was really, really nice and handy. So those were fun memories. Then when I brought down the last load, the one from the apple trees, I was going to put it on 2 beds. And one of those beds I've grown garlic in. Now, you know, I did not grow a garden this last year, not last fall, up through this fall. Hadn't planted anything because it was the Shemitah year, the year that we're to rest the land. And God always provides just plenty for us the years before, so that it's fine. I don't need to plant a garden then. But I'd evidently missed some little garlics, and I saw that I had 3 patches that had quite a few little shoots of garlic coming up. So I decided to break up that ground. I was breaking it up anyhow because it had a bunch of weeds in, and before I put in the leaves, I definitely wanted to get as many of those weeds out as possible, because in the springtime, I won't necessarily feel like weeding right away, although I probably will do some. I'll be ready to plant. It's been a long time. So I dug those up. I used a garden fork, which is kind of like a flat pitchfork, but it's flat and not curved. And I dug those up and broke them apart, and I could hardly believe it. On that garden bed, again, 3 foot by 12 foot, I was able to spread those out, and they filled up 3/4 of that bed perfectly. It was great. And so I have bought a little bit more garlic that I was going to plant. I won't need all of it now, but I bought some specialty, and it was black garlic. I'm going to plant that and see if that grows. That'll be real interesting. And then that whole bed will be done. So then I topped everything with those leaves. That'll keep the weeds down, keep the moisture down. It will draw worms, and it will keep the nutrients that I put in there from just washing out. So it's a great thing to top dress them. I used to only do it in the compost pile, but the last few years I've done it this way. It's worked really nice. In the spring, they should be mostly broke down, but if they're not, I will just kind of spread them apart and plant in that beautiful soil that will not be super compacted because of all those leaves. So I guess that's pretty well what I've been doing. Really so happy to be out gardening again. Super happy. When I get a chance to, and I find somebody that can, I'm going to have them help me get all the cattle panels out of the garden, except for the one big arch. Although I may change the way I have that a little bit. And I'll just decide where I want them next year. Make it a lot easier to work around. Well, I thought you might like to know what's been going on in the homestead. That's about it. But it's good. We still have lots of trees to do, but we got a little sprinkles today. And I will probably wait till it's a little drier again, and I'll be out raking again and moving more. Now on 2 of my beds, I think I have 16 beds. I might have 18. Those held strawberry plants, and I'm going to be getting that soil out of those beds. I don't want that soil anymore because I made the horrible, horrible mistake of top dressing around my strawberries with straw. And this did not turn out to be clean straw. It was loaded with seed. And so it has just been such a battle to keep out grass. It's probably wheat, really, from growing in there. And I'm tired of that. So I'm going to get rid of that and start again with new buildup of soil. I've got some beautiful compost that I'm going to screen out, and I will top dress as much as I can with that, and definitely with the new strawberry beds, they will get some of that. Well, I hope you're having a good time in your garden if you garden, and if you don't have a big place to garden, you can garden in a little container. It's not too late to even get a pot. If you're living like in an apartment, just get a pot and fill it with, I like to put something at the bottom because it makes it lighter. Lots of times I'll use styrofoam, to be honest, but you can put rocks or whatever you want, little chunks of wood to fill up the container part way, and then fill the other half, depending how big your pot is, of course, with nice composty type of dirt. You can buy that at a garden store if you need to. Go get a couple or even 1 head of garlic and plant that now. You'll just break it off the individual cloves, and you will see the kind of rough end. That's the end that goes down. The more pointed end goes up, and put that in there 1 inch or 2 deep, probably covered up 1 inch or 2. I like to do it closer to 2. And you will have garlic next year, and that will be really fun. So I encourage you to do that. Well, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house, out of your house, in the day and the night. Whatever you do, keep dreaming. Good night.